They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but some pictures whisper secrets that should never be told. This is the story of a seemingly innocent family photograph taken in 1910, a frozen moment of joy and togetherness. Yet lurking silently in the background, standing by the window, was a child who shouldn't have been there, or at least not like that. No one in the family ever spoke of the child. No one mentioned the way the boy's eyes seemed to follow every visitor in that photo, as if hiding a dark story beyond the lens. What happened to that child? Who was he, really? And what terrible truth did this photograph try desperately to hide? This is Forgotten Remains, and tonight, we peel back the faded layers of time to reveal a chilling tale of darkness, mystery, and a family haunted by the shadow of one boy standing by a window. The year was 1910, and the Hartley family gathered in their modest home in rural Ohio for what was supposed to be a happy occasion, a family portrait. The house, a weathered Victorian with peeling paint and creaky wooden floors, had stood for decades, sheltering generations of the Hartleys. On that chilly autumn day, the entire family, dressed in their Sunday best, posed in the parlor. The father, Thomas Hartley, a stern man with calloused hands, stood proudly beside his wife Mary, who held the youngest daughter close. Sitting on the antique sofa were the older siblings, their faces carefully composed, trying not to squirm in the cold air. But near the window, standing oddly apart from the rest, was a small boy nobody ever mentioned, or even seemed to notice. His presence was unsettling. His eyes, wide and unnerving, stared blankly out of the frame, beyond the photographer, beyond the camera, beyond the living room. Local historian Anna Reynolds, decades later, would stumble upon this photograph in a forgotten album in the attic of the abandoned Hartley house. When she zoomed in on the child, her blood ran cold. This boy was not just part of the family. He was something else entirely. A shadow in the frame. Anna's research revealed no records of a boy living with the Hartleys at the time. The census listed only the parents and their 4 daughters. No son. Neighbors' accounts were vague, whispers of strange noises late at night, and a boy's laughter echoing through the empty halls, long after the family had disappeared. The Hartley family vanished from the town's records without explanation just a few years after the photo was taken. What did that child represent? Why was he standing alone by the window? Anna's curiosity turned into obsession. The more she uncovered, the darker the history became. Secrets beyond the glass. Through old diaries, letters, and town records, Anna pieced together a story of forbidden rituals, occult practices whispered among certain townsfolk, and a family who had dabbled in the unknown to protect a terrible secret. The child by the window was said to be a vessel, a link between worlds, trapped between life and death, hidden in plain sight. The Hartleys' fate was tied to that boy's presence, and whatever dark pact had been made long before that 1910 photograph. The story we will unravel over the coming parts is one of horror hidden behind smiles, of secrets that festered behind closed doors, and of a boy who never should have been part of that family portrait. Anna's investigation led her deep into the forgotten corners of the town's history. She visited the local archives, poring over brittle newspapers, property records, and faded journals. Every clue pointed to the Hartley family, but none explained the boy. She discovered that Thomas Hartley was a respected carpenter, known for building many of the houses in town. Mary, his wife, was described as quiet and reclusive, rarely seen in public. But something darker lurked beneath their respectable facade. One of the oldest townsfolk, a frail woman named Mrs. Jenkins, recalled stories passed down from her grandmother. They said the Hartleys kept secrets, not just family secrets, but things no one dared speak aloud. Strange symbols carved into the wood of their home, lights flickering at odd hours. A child's cry that never belonged to any known child in the family. Anna's heart raced as she listened. Could the boy by the window be connected to those whispered legends? The window's curse. Anna returned to the abandoned Hartley house to examine the window in the photograph, the one behind the boy. The glass was cracked, stained with decades of dust and grime, but etched faintly into the wood frame were symbols, ancient markings that looked like protective wards. Local folklore warned that these wards were meant to trap or contain something dangerous. Could it be that the boy was trapped there? Was he a victim or a key to something far worse? As Anna touched the cold wood, a shiver ran down her spine. The air grew heavy, and for a moment, she thought she saw a faint reflection in the glass, a pale face staring back at her. The disappearance. The most chilling part of the mystery was the sudden disappearance of the Hartley family in 1913, just 3 years after the photo was taken. Neighbors remembered that the house was left untouched, belongings still inside, meals left uneaten on the table. It was as if the family had simply vanished. No official record explained what happened. No obituary, no news story. Anna found an old, yellowed letter hidden inside a book in the town's tiny library, written by Mary Hartley herself, dated shortly before their disappearance. It spoke of fear, of a growing darkness within the house, and a warning to never look too closely at the past. The The letter ended with a desperate plea: "Protect him, or all will be lost." A haunting legacy. Was the boy by the window the him Mary spoke of? A child caught in a terrible fate? Anna realized this was no ordinary family photo. It was a portal to a nightmare, a chilling glimpse into a horror frozen in time. The truth lay buried in the shadows of that old Victorian home, hidden behind the cracked glass of the window. And as Anna would soon discover, some secrets refused to stay buried. Anna couldn't shake the feeling that the boy in the photo was trying to tell her something, a silent scream frozen behind time and glass. Determined to uncover the truth, she returned to the Hartley house once more, this time armed with a flashlight, a camera, and a sense of growing dread. The house creaked under her footsteps, the stale air thick with dust and forgotten memories. As she approached the window where the boy once stood, she noticed faint scratches along the windowsill, claw marks, desperate and raw. It was as if something or someone had tried to escape. Her flashlight flickered suddenly, plunging the room into darkness for a moment. When the light returned, she saw it. A shadow moving just beyond the window, too quick to be human. A cold whisper brushed her ear, like a breath of wind carrying a warning. Don't look deeper. But Anna's curiosity wouldn't let her turn away. The Diary of Secrets. Back at her apartment, Anna sifted through the archives again, this time focusing on any personal documents tied to the Hartley family. She found a dusty, leather-bound diary, said to belong to Mary Hartley. The entries were erratic and frantic, chronicling a slow descent into madness. Mary wrote of a presence in the house. Something invisible, yet all-consuming. It watches from the glass, feeding on the boy's fear. I tried to protect him, but the darkness is patient. It waits for the right moment to claim us all. The final pages were stained with tears and something darker. A warning scrawled in shaky handwriting. If you find this, beware the boy who never truly left. The Forgotten Child. Local legends spoke of a child who vanished without a trace in the early 1900s, around the same time the Hartleys disappeared. Some said he was taken by a dark force tied to the house, cursed to wander between worlds. Anna began to suspect the boy in the photo wasn't just a victim. He was a prisoner, trapped between life and death, his soul forever tied to the house's cursed window. Every time she looked at the photo, she felt his eyes, empty yet pleading, begging for release. The breaking point. One stormy night, Anna returned to the house with a team of paranormal investigators. As thunder rumbled and rain lashed the windows, they set up cameras and sensors. Suddenly, the temperature dropped sharply. The window glass rattled violently, and an anguished scream echoed through the halls. The team's equipment caught fleeting images. A pale boy reaching out, his mouth open in silent terror, his eyes fixed on Anna. The house was alive with unseen forces, warning her to stop. The choice. Anna faced a terrible choice. Abandon the mystery and escape with her sanity intact, or risk everything to free the boy trapped behind the glass. As the night deepened, she knew one thing for certain. Some secrets are more than just stories. They are curses waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to break them, and the boy by the window was waiting. The following day, Anna could hardly sleep. The images from the paranormal team haunted her mind. That ghostly boy, desperate, trapped between worlds. She returned once again to the Hartley house, her heart pounding with dread and determination. The front door creaked open as if inviting her inside. The house seemed different now, colder, darker, as if it had been holding its breath for decades, waiting for someone to come. Whispers in the walls. As Anna explored the dusty rooms, faint whispers filled the air, unintelligible but urgent. She followed the sound to the attic, where a cracked mirror reflected her pale face. Suddenly, the whispers coalesced into words. "Help me." Anna spun around, but no one was there. Her flashlight flickered, revealing scratch marks on the wooden floor, the same marks she had seen by the window. A hidden room. Behind a loose panel in the attic wall, Anna discovered a narrow passageway, barely wide enough to crawl through. She hesitated, then forced herself forward, the air growing colder with every inch. At the end of the passage, a small, dimly lit room revealed itself. The walls were covered with old newspaper clippings and faded photographs of the Hartley family. But the centerpiece was a small cot, stained and worn as if a child had slept there. On the floor lay a broken music box, its tune eerily distorted. The Lost Boy's story. Anna's heart clenched as she found a bundle of letters tied with a faded ribbon. They were written by Mary Hartley, the mother in the photo. The letters told a horrifying story. Mary's son had been born with a mysterious illness that left him unable to speak or move freely. As neighbors whispered of curses and dark magic, Mary's desperation grew. She wrote of making a pact with an unknown entity, promising her son's soul in exchange for his survival. A family's curse. The more Anna read, the clearer it became. The boy in the photo was not just a victim of tragedy, but a symbol of a dark family secret. The forbidden secret hidden in the portrait was the mark of the pact. Faint symbols carved into the boy's hand, invisible at first glance but holding immense power. This pact had bound the boy's spirit to the house, trapping him in a liminal space between life and death. The warning. Suddenly, the room grew icy. The music box began to play by itself, a haunting lullaby that sent chills down Anna's spine. A voice echoed from the shadows, "Leave now, or become part of the curse." But Anna's resolve hardened. She would uncover the full truth, even if it meant facing the darkness itself. The descent begins. Determined to break the curse and free the lost boy, Anna prepared for what might be her most dangerous journey yet, confronting this sinister force that lurked in the heart of the Hartley house. The line between past and present blurred as the shadows grew deeper, and the boy's silent plea echoed louder than ever. The cold in the hidden room was unbearable now, as if the very air had turned to ice. Anna's breath came out in white clouds, but she pressed on, clutching Mary Hartley's letters tightly. Voices from beyond. As she left the attic, the whispers returned, louder this time, weaving through the empty halls like a sinister melody. They weren't just words. They were cries, warnings, and pleas tangled together. "Leave! Leave, before it's too late," the voices hissed. Anna's hands trembled, but she steeled herself. This house held secrets darker than she imagined, and she was determined to uncover them all. The hidden diary. In the dusty study, beneath the loose floorboard, Anna found an old leather-bound diary, Mary's journal. The pages were brittle, but the ink was fresh enough to read. The entries revealed a chilling truth. Mary had become consumed by the pact, sacrificing everything to keep her son alive, but at a terrible cost. She wrote of nightly rituals, strange visitors cloaked in shadows, and a terrible price that had to be paid each generation. The price of survival. Mary's son was never truly alive. His spirit was tethered to the house by dark magic. The family's prosperity came from this unnatural bond, but the cost was a cycle of pain, sacrifice, and death. The forbidden secret was the boy's curse, an eternal imprisonment, his soul bound to the very walls that held him captive. Confronting the darkness, Anna felt a cold breath on her neck. Turning, she saw a shadowy figure flicker at the edge of the room, indistinct but terrifyingly real. The boy from the photograph, or what remained of him, appeared before her, eyes hollow but pleading. "Help me, free me," he whispered. The ritual. Guided by Mary's journal, Anna prepared to break the curse. The ritual demanded a sacrifice, something pure to sever the dark ties. As she arranged candles and ancient symbols, the house trembled. Shadows writhed on the walls, voices screamed in fury, and the air grew thick with despair. A battle for the soul. The spirit of the boy reached out, his cold fingers brushing Anna's skin. The room spun as the darkness fought to keep its hold. Anna's heart pounded. This was no ordinary haunting, but a battle between light and shadow, life and death. With trembling hands, she completed the final incantation. A flash of light, a blinding light exploded from the center of the room, engulfing everything. When the light faded, the boy was gone. The oppressive weight lifted. The house, once alive with sinister energy, was silent, peaceful for the first time in over a century. Anna stepped outside, the morning sun warm on her face. The curse was broken, but in the stillness, a single whisper floated on the breeze. "Thank you." Anna's victory over the darkness felt surreal. The house stood silent, its haunted echoes finally stilled. But peace often masks what still lurks beneath. The aftermath. Days passed, and Anna sifted through the last of Mary's belongings. Letters, photos, trinkets, all telling fragments of a family cursed by greed, desperation, and forbidden bloodlines. She knew the townsfolk would never speak openly of the house again. Some secrets were too dark, too dangerous to touch. Unseen eyes. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Anna sat by the window. She thought the nightmare had ended, until a cold breeze swept through the room. There, reflected in the glass, she saw it. The faint outline of a child's face, pale and sorrowful. His eyes met hers, not pleading anymore, but warning. A cycle unbroken. The curse may have been broken, but the house still held its secrets. The blood spilled, the dark pacts made. They left a mark deeper than rituals or magic could erase. Anna realized some darkness never dies. It simply waits. A new guardian. Determined, Anna vowed to protect the story, to guard against those who would seek to repeat the past. She buried Mary's diary deep in the earth behind the house, hoping to trap the evil forever. But sometimes, the earth cannot hold the past forever. The last whisper. As night fell, the wind carried a faint voice, soft as a sigh, chilling as a winter's breath. We are never truly gone. The Prescott house remains, a silent sentinel in the woods. Its walls soaked in generations of sorrow, its floors holding whispers of lives lost and promises broken. Some say the boy still watches from the shadows, waiting for another soul to set free. And maybe, one day, someone will. The house's story ended for now, but the terror it birthed lives on, in forgotten remains, in hidden photographs, and in the shadows we dare not face. Thank you for joining this journey into forgotten horrors. Be careful where you look next, some secrets are better left buried.